Hello, hello. Welcome to the Big Black Tent. I'm Naima Freedom.
I'm Natalie Arsenault.
Woohoo! I'm so excited. We have our event coming up December 6th,
Mhm.
Saturday from 11 to 2. A talk and brunch in which we will be talking how do you say it? For, by, between us.
Yes, for us, by us, and between us.
Yes, yes, yes. Black American women
Yes.
bearing witness to ease and collapse command. I think I'm gonna throw collaboration, community in there. Everything that we usually talk about amongst everybody else in our tent. But for the first time in my lifetime, speaking about things that matter to us in this particular climate as Black American women without the cage of victimhood attached to it. Instead, a celebration and reflection of where we've been and where we're going to now. So, the reason why I'm excited about what we were just talking about, Miss Natalie was talking about how she met her Martin.
That is true. That is true. We are coming up on 21 years.
Woo! Hits the balloons in the
Hence the balloon
back.
background. Yes.
And that is wonderful because you were telling me that speaking of bearing witness, your aunt bared witness for you. She didn't just listen, but she read you.
Oh yeah, she's credited for the whole thing. Like definitely. Like we even credited her, or I credited her at even at our well at our second wedding. The first one we eloped, but the
Oh,
second one.
yeah. Oh, okay. The second. So you did end up having a wedding.
Yeah, we ended up having a wedding because so we didn't tell, like, we got married, didn't tell anybody the first go round, namely because I'm just like, as you know, because I've also told you about medical things and whatever, I'm not the person who just blurts out stuff. Like, it's life, live your life. It don't need to be all public and whatever. So I was just like, it's our marriage. Like, we don't need to like be a public display of whatever. So we eloped and I ain't tell nobody. And I didn't tell anybody. But then eventually my mother would call and my mother would be like, "Oh, you're living in sin and all these things." Because I was
Black American mother, baby.
it's a good Black American mama. She will tell you what the Holy Spirit has not told her. Because I'm like, the Holy Spirit has not told you that. Because if the Holy Spirit did tell you, he would have told you that your daughter had eloped and that she is fine. Okay. And she would have been fine even if she hadn't eloped. But that's a different situation. So eventually we told my parents, and then my mom was like, "Well, you have to have something because I feel like I've been deprived the developmental part of your life." I was like, "Do I really?" So anyway, so then we ended up having something 2 years later. So hence the ninth and the 10th. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, hence the ninth and the 10th. Okay. Okay. What I love about this and what I love about our talk coming up is witnessing. That's a word we grew up with in our community. Can I get a witness? Whatever in
Hmm.
church. Old Testament stuff bearing witness. But I have realized the power of it because your mother was talking about something very ancient. She was talking about something very cultural. And
Hmm.
it's almost like the whole did the tree fall in the forest if nobody saw it,
Right.
Um, that this whole thing is bent on, even our corrupt legal system is bent on witnesses, right?
Hmm.
Um, so that's what made me excited about that because it was something, your relationship with Martin, you couldn't quite see it
Oh,
for
I
what it
couldn't see it at
was.
all, child. I mean, there was zero sight. Like, I had no zero line of sight.
The power of somebody with clarity, right? Correct sight, perspective on you, on what you wanted, what you needed, and how that literally changed the arc of your life.
Oh,
That is
yes.
powerful. That is
Yeah,
powerful.
it's
And
true.
even your mom saying, hey, we need to celebrate this because I
Right,
believe that celebration is that cement, that seal of a good
right,
thing.
right.
So,
Yeah. yeah, I mean, and what's crazy is that, as you know, I'm a huge celebration person. Like, I'm here for the celebrations. But I don't know. It's like you buy a car, you buy a house. It's just those things just seem like you get married. It's like those things are like part of life. Like it's just what you do. So I'm happy to celebrate that we made it to spring. Like that to me is more celebratory than the fact that I bought a house. Like I don't know. Anyway. Um So yeah, but my aunt TJ, and it wasn't even that she told me that, again, she wasn't like, oh, you got to marry this guy, because she didn't know either. She was just like, don't cancel. Basically, she was like, don't cancel people. Before the word cancel was a thing, a hashtag. She was like, you can't just cancel people out of your life. I was like, hello, have you not met me? I cancel people all the time for a lot less. Hello. So, and I'll tell you this much, every single time, every step along the way, when something would come up, um, it would be so fascinating how, like, the Most High would put something in place for me to make the connection as to why I didn't need to react in the way that I would traditionally react. So, like, for example, and it would come from the oddest places. So my aunt TJ is Methodist. As y'all know, I'm not. I'm Jew. So that's two very different lines of thinking. Um, but I remember Martin was kind of in between gigs. And I didn't know that this was very early on when we were dating, maybe 2 months into us dating, but he was in between gigs. And he was telling me that he had this particular job. And I found out later, through him telling me where he was at in the process. I was like, so you mean you don't really? I was like, you don't really have the job. He was like, well, no, I do have the job. He was like, by faith, I have the job. I was like, no, 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 no. But no one's writing you a check, depositing money in your account because you have the job. And he was like, well, not yet, but they're going to. I was like, oh Lord, you didn't lie to me. I was like, I'm out. I don't deal with people who be lying. I was like, I can't wait. So, so then went to my auntie J. So I also used to run marathons. So, and after I'd run my marathon, I would go to my auntie J's house, and like ice my knees and do all the things and watch TV and whatever. Well, on the Sunday, she had told me to come to church with her, and so they go to a Methodist church. It was a good old white Methodist pastor up there. It was so insane. And you know me, I'll go practically anywhere. I'm like, as long as I don't feel like my life and safety is in jeopardy, I will pretty much go anywhere. Um, so she told me to come to this, to church with her, and I was like, okay, cool. So we go to church, and of course, it's a super laid back church. People in there with shorts on and flip flops and whatever. I was like, okay, whatever. So the pastor gets up there, and this is why I said the most unconventional thing. And he was talking about a day that his wife he had given his wife like a day, like a spa treatment day to go off and pamper herself and all this stuff. And his wife was concerned because she was leaving the kids with him. And she was like, look, the kids have this regiment, keep the regiment. I don't want them to like get all willy-nilly and all this other stuff. He was like, yeah, babe, just go off, take care of yourself. I got this. The moment that lady left the door, the regiment went out the window. The kids were supposed to have a specific snack. He gave them a different snack, and it was a sugary snack, and they weren't supposed to be having sugar. They were only supposed to get so much TV time. He left them watching the TV practically, like all these things, right? And so then when his wife comes back, she's like, oh, how did the kids' day go? Did they get this? And he's like, oh, yeah, we did everything. It's fine. It's great, whatever. And he was like, I don't know why in that moment I felt like I needed to lie to her about what I did. And
Okay.
he was like, it wasn't even a big thing. He was like, but I just said yes for her peace of mind because the kids were still alive. So there's no reason to get her worked up. And so in that moment, and I'd already told my aunt TJ about this. So my aunt TJ nudged me in the middle of the service. And I was like, first of all, keep your hands to yourself in service. Don't be over here nudging me. Um, and so so I'm like drawing this correlation, and I was like, I wonder if I should just ask him why he felt like he needed to say he had this particular gig and he didn't, instead of telling me what his process was. And of course, his whole thing was it was faith-based, and he was working the process and all that, and he didn't think that it was that big of a deal, so he didn't feel like he needed to whatever. So anyway, so all I'm saying is that it's very weird how messages get to you
Mhm.
and where the messages come from. It don't always be in the way in which you think they should come.
Wow. Wow. So that, I mean, the fact that that resonated with you is definitely meant that was for you. Yeah,
Yes,
that's very interesting because I just think if it was anybody else, I'm like, I don't see how this man got through because he was for you. But I'm like, if it was anybody else, you wouldn't have even listened to that message. I
that's
mean, that's
correct. Yeah,
so. Can I ask you a question? How did your body respond to that when you received that message? Did you know within your body? Did you feel peace about it? Like, okay, this is what I needed to
I don't know if
accept.
I don't know if peace is the right word because I wasn't. The interesting thing about me is when I make a decision,
Mhm.
when I make a decision, I'm settled in the decision that I make. So I'm never like, oh, should I have, shouldn't I have, whatever. Because in the way my life has always worked, and what I just shared is evidence of it, is that if I need to take in a different data point to get to a different decision to create a different outcome, I firmly believe the Most High will tell me. Absolutely. He
Mm,
will tell me, and I will hear him. And I will, at that point in time, have a conversation with him about whether I think what he's telling me is something I should listen to, or I'll be like, look, I'm not fit to participate with you. Keep that message to yourself. I'm supposed to do whatever it is I wanted to do anyway. Leave me be. So, um, so I don't know if there was a piece, but what dropped into my spirit is that I needed to still like investigate and interrogate the thought with Martin about why something for somebody who I wasn't, because again, we weren't dating, right? Like because again, I wasn't interested. I was not
okay.
interested. I wasn't interested. He wasn't my kind of dude from the standpoint of like what I envisioned was going to be my person. Like I envisioned was going to be this kind of metrosexual kind of dude who knew just as much about Armani and Prada as I did, who was like flying here, flying there, this global whatever, all these things, right? Because it mirrored my lifestyle. So I really wasn't interested. I wasn't really interested in general in marriage at all. Like I said, I was going to get married to myself by when I turned 30 in a chapel in Milan that I had already identified. And Vera Wang was going to make my dress and it was going to be beautiful. Um, God had other plans. But so it, it wasn't peace. It was just that, hey, why does it matter? Like find out why this person felt like they didn't need, like the way that they presented the information, find out why they presented it in that way.
Okay. Okay.
So I was like, okay, that's easy enough to do. Um, but it, yeah, that was what resonated with me. But like I said, I mean, I've always been, even when I'm not on a thing,
Mhm.
the Most High will step in and tell me. I mean, it's the reason why we're married anyway, because I, again, wasn't interested. I I didn't think of him I wasn't even evaluating him in those categories. Like it wasn't even a thing. Um, and then at the end of July, first part of August, God told me I needed to think about it in a different way.
Okay. Okay. I mean, so what I hear you, and I'm understanding like a theme and a pattern with how you were
God has to always
raised.
tell me what I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, not even that, but it's like you're steeped in witnessing. So we had this conversation last week, and I thought about it all. Like I literally like got in meditation because I was like, okay, I don't really understand where she's coming from. But it was very interesting because to me, this validates it that you were raised in, like we were talking about, the just is, like how there's no hierarchy. There's
Hmm.
just, this just is. It's not, and I think you might have even said it's not even peace, even. It just is, right?
It
It
just
just,
is. Yeah.
the essence of God, right? And I thought, okay, I figured out why I'm a special needs educator. I figured out why me in this work of truth, witnessing, alignment, and what that has to do with special needs, because I couldn't figure out the connection.
Okay.
And this is when I realized it is. Like if I have a child, your mom had you, and I raised this child in what love is, what isness is, where everything's wholeness, called wholeness. In wholeness, right? Then it's just wholeness. You don't know. It's sort of like that man who said, he made this joke. He said there were two fish in an ocean, and the one fish looks at the other fish. He said, "Man, do you ever want to get out of this water?" And he said, "What's water?" Right? It was just his being.
Just
Like,
where you is,
I
yeah.
don't know separation. This is just it, right? So there's no separation. So you weren't raised in a tomb. Hence, tomb living we gonna go into. You weren't raised in a tomb where most of us reside in Black America. Okay, you can say America, period. You can say the world, but I'm gonna just use
We're gonna
Black
focus
America,
on yes. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
You weren't raised there, so you don't need scaffolding, right? You don't need to know the difference between certain shades of hypocrisy, certain shades of deceit. You just know that that don't feel right. I don't even lean that way. I'm not even bent to even try to
Yeah.
understand. And something you said previously was this. You said, I don't even know. You were saying, I know how I'm designed. I've come from source. I'm from God, and I know what
Mm-hmm.
the rules are for me. If you're not from source, that's not my business. I
That's
don't know
not
what
my
your comments
business.
are.
It's
I
not.
don't know. I don't even look that way. So what you said was so interesting because I realized that's what it is. So when Yeshua, Jesus came down, right? Or where everything Jesus popped up from, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was, for those of us who needed scaffolding, right?
Yeah.
He was showing us, no, this is called this, and this is called this, and you want to get to this,
Right.
right? But if you've already been there, you're
Yeah.
like, whatever they talking about, I'm living a good life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't need his sermon. There's some people who didn't need his sermon,
Right.
right? They didn't
Right.
need the sermon. They were just good.
Right.
But for those of us who need a ladder to get out into the isness,
Yeah.
then the vocabulary, the experience is going to look completely
That's
different,
true. That's fair.
right?
Yeah.
So I was like, look, I said that in about a minute, but it took me about 6 days because I was like, what is she? Why is my life? What? Like, I was like, why? Like, why is it taking me so many steps? So this is why this is remarkable to me because when you speak, even when you said, I didn't see why buying a house is a big deal, because that's your norm, right? That's your isness. That's just what people do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just life. I mean, and it's not even just like buying a house. I mean, like just I don't know.
Because you can't imagine being born in lack. You can't be imagine being in a between a rock and a hard place where you feel like there's only blackness, that there is no choice, there is no
Right.
door.
Right. Because
Okay, so that's
because there always is, and I'll tell you this much. So I'll never forget when I was little, I was probably like, and maybe this had what I'm about to say has to do with exposure to some extent, but I also believe that it's always been the core of who I am, which is what you're not going to do is put limiters on me ever, ever. And that's worked to my advantage. And it's
Mhm.
also been disadvantageous sometimes too. So when I was little, I remember one of my aunts, not Aunt TJ, different aunt, I had gone to visit them. And, I was born and raised in a brick and mortar 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 2,200 square foot house. You know this. You were raised in the same similar neighborhood. Um, so I went to visit them, and I was like 7 or 8.
Hear me? Did y'all say it wasn't the same house though? Just saying, people, you can have levels in these neighborhoods.
You can have levels. That's true. That is true. But um,
Go on.
it was brick and mortar. It was a 3 bedroom,
But it was a house. Okay, it was a
house. But my cousin and my aunt and uncles lived in a mobile home. So when I got there, of course, because children don't really have no filter. I mean, I don't know how much of a filter I have even now, but whatever. I was like, "What is this?" And they were like, "This is our house." I was like, but this is not a house. They were like, no, it is. They were like, but they have different types of houses. They were like, this is our starter home and we're saving money. And they did save money and they went and got a brick and mortar and all that. And they were like, we're saving money and we're gonna, get a brick and a house. And I was like, oh, I was like, I don't think I'll ever be in this kind. This doesn't make sense. I was like, well, I don't understand why this is the first house. And my aunt was like, well, when you grow up, you'll probably have a starter home similar to this too. And you'll graduate from that starter home to another home. I was like, oh no, I'm not. I was like, no, my first house is gonna be like, it's gonna be big, it's gonna be that. And I described it all to her. Like I described everything about the house that I was gonna have whenever I grew up. And while yes, I lived in apartments, but I would also go back to an apartment now. When Martin and I got married, the home that we built, and I was 26, I think, when we got married. The home we built was a custom home. That my first home was a custom home. Prior to that, I lived in high-end apartment complexes, mainly because I just don't want the maintenance of a goddamn house, which is where I'm still at yet. But we're gonna talk about that in a different story. But I say that to say that people will also try to alter your programming with their programming, which is why I was saying in our conversation last week, whatever you doing over there, buddy, that's your business. I ain't got nothing to do with whatever. Unless you ask me a question, that's your business. Um, and you're not going to tell me that what you're doing over there, if I don't see it as something that is on the level for me, that's the level that I have to go to in order to do the thing. Like everybody has this preconceived notion of like you hear how you have to work, like we were talking about in the case of trauma. And people are, like, oh, these are the steps you take to move through trauma. No, those are your steps that you designed or somebody designed for you and gave you whatever. Like that doesn't mean that that's my steps or Martin's steps or my mama's steps. Like everybody, some people literally do just put it on the altar and walk away and find their healing and never do that thing, touch that thing, have the same reaction to the thing, have a trigger to the thing. Like, so you can't be like, oh, you need to spend 40 hours a week in therapy. Okay, if you need therapy, then go. Don't let me stop you. But don't say that that is the only path to get to your healing because that's not the case. That's one path of endless, infinite amounts of paths.
No, you done pissed off so many people
I'm
already.
sure I have. I'm sure I have. I'm absolutely sure. You got people who are addicts and they go cold turkey. That for some people that's great. Like
I
they
think
don't need no AA, they don't need no group session. They just like,
I
look, I'm putting
think
it down.
I think that's the isness. Like we had, oh my gosh, it was such a blowout with my kids yesterday. So we have family meetings and we have our laws and anyway, I kind of run it like a courtroom.
I
So
love it. I love
this
it.
this is what the issue is with this. So when they do something, like we have our three core laws or five core laws, whatever I get. And so we know if this happens, this is the result. And everybody's agreed on it, right?
Okay.
So the issue is you have to take responsibility for it, right? Is it true? Is it not true? Do you need to call a family meeting? And there's repair. Like you don't just say you sorry. So what are we gonna do to not do this again? Go to the person. What do they need? So anyway, um, each one of my kids have their own personalities, right?
Hmm.
My baby girl was raised mostly in the is, right? She's always been my mom. She doesn't have to go house to house. Um, she just all love, right? Why is it
Hmm.
love? Why isn't it so, right? She mirrors you mostly, okay? So when my voice is a bit firm, that's enough for her to okay, okay, I don't want
Oh
no
yeah.
smoke,
Yep, that's me. I'm like, we don't need no whoopings. We don't need none of that. You done raised your voice. I'm good. Okay.
that's her. Like she has never been whooped. Like that's
Yep.
her, right? She can get it within 1 minute. She can go from I'm mad, I'm gonna talk back, I'm gonna get corrected, and then I'm sorry, can I have that piece of cookie? Right? That's
That's
her real quick.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, my second born, that's not his experience whatsoever. Right. Whatsoever. So we worked for years trying to get some of these lessons. His experience is really different.
Hmm.
So he's got a lot more to be upset about. The issue yesterday was there was something she wanted that I just said. She went through her whole arc and finished within a minute and was able to get whatever she wanted.
Hmm.
I cannot understand if that was me, if that was me. So we had to have a family meeting because he didn't understand. He was thinking time, like you're saying.
Hmm.
He's thinking maybe if it was me, you would have maybe go to Maroon. And I was like, no, 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 no. It's not the time. I said, it is the process it takes you to rage, to
Right.
take responsibility for your rage,
Yeah.
to come back calm enough to talk
Yeah.
about it, right? Maybe you might rage again because you're
That's
mad at what
correct.
we talked about. And I
Yeah.
said, for you, maybe the whole weekend and next Friday. And then you get what you were supposed to get.
Correct.
I said, but if you could, I said, there's no time. If you get it within seconds, if you get it instantly, that's what it is,
That's what it
you know?
is.
And I thought that was so profound for him to see that so quickly and to see what he has to work through. And it was also a lesson for me like, what am I doing? It's taking so long because I believe, right, I have to go through all these steps.
Hmm.
And that's when I go back to your ism. Some of us, some people, right, are able to just go direct and touch because that's your experience,
Hmm.
right? Because what I'm realizing is God, the field, whatever you want to call it, is instantaneous. It's no separation.
There's no time differential.
There's no, what it is the capacity that I have when I touch it and all my distorted
That
filters
is correct.
to get to the truth of the witnessing. Because this is what's interesting about your aunt. I'm realizing that she saw clearly, right? In the same situation when I was looking at my person at around the same age, even though I had witnesses, I didn't trust them. I didn't trust them
Mm.
because their witness was tainted by their own cycles of abuse, even though they were right.
Right.
I did not trust them. I did not trust them. And now,
Right.
I also, if I would have listened, I would have had a much different life, but I would have found my way to somebody else
Right.
because my clarity was off.
Right.
Right? I wasn't steeped in wholeness and I didn't know nobody whole.
Right. Right.
Right? So the whole thing was tainted. So I realized what you're saying, what my son's saying, what humanity goes through is when we touch it, are we able to recognize what it is? Are we able to hear
Hear
God
it.
when he really
Yeah.
speaks?
When he speaks. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the issue. Like, no, I wait for God. I know what that voice is. No, a lot of us like, did I really hear what I heard? Nah, that
Right.
ain't it. We need 1,000 more tests
A
to
thousand more
validate
tests.
what we knew 20 years
Correct.
ago.
Correct. Yeah, it's
But it is
true.
instant. It is instant.
It is instant. It is
It does
instant.
not take us
It
that long.
and what's funny about it is that it's
And it's
it,
more than instant. It can be before you even release it. Yeah.
yes, it is instantly available. It's almost like I the way I thought about it is it's like electricity, like the speed of light, right? You flip the switch, and if your light bulb is screwed in, you can't even measure really the time differential between when you flip the switch and the light comes on. If the bulb is broken, you'll flip the switch and think you don't have electricity.
That's true.
If the
Oh,
bulb is slightly loose,
isn't that
bulb
simple?
works, but it's a little loose in there, doesn't have the right connection points. You'll flip the switch and think you don't have electricity. The electricity was instant from the source. It's there. The moment you called upon it, it was there. It didn't manifest necessarily, right? Like because there was the connection, the bulb itself was broken. So there was some sort of repair or something that needed to happen to get it, but it was there instantaneous. So to me, that's the moment. And that was in essence the principle that Martin was working on way long time ago when he was like, the job that
Yeah, boo.
like He was like, no, no, I do have
Sorry,
it.
you
I
can't
have
see
it. He was like, no, I have it. I was like, no, but you don't have a check from it yet. It's not really your. No, he was like, no, I have it. I was like,
Yeah, the check
"Oh."
is actually the
I was
distortion.
like,
I get it, but
okay,
yeah,
then. Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, do you, sir? Do you? Uh,
Okay, so now I'm gonna use another word, and I know it's not a new word, but when we were talking, and you were like, "We got to use our own language," or what is it
yeah,
that I say? So that's why I've been using the word witness. Number two, I realize I'm throwing away manifestation. I'm throwing that shit away. I
yeah,
said shit manifestation
yeah.
because based on your example, what you were talking about is whether something is aligned or not, right?
Correct,
Is
correct.
it aligned? So as soon as I fix that circuit, boom,
Yeah,
right? It's structural. It's a structure to the thing, right?
yes,
There's no guessing. There's no magic with this. No. Am I aligned with what already is? Because
correct.
even before man figured out, oh, put this wire to this wire, electricity is still
Electricity
everywhere.
existed. It was there.
Yeah.
And that's why everything is there. So that's why when and I may not want to do the thing to get like we talked about this. I'm sure somebody gonna be like, this girl is crazy, but walking on water,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
flight,
yeah.
teleportation, all those things, like it's there. It's not that it's not there. Now, whether you want to do the thing, like I said, Buddhist monks levitate for hours, like literally off the ground. There's documented evidence of it. Can I levitate? I can, like it's there. It's not like it's not a thing for me to have. Am I going to? No, not, not, right?
But see,
But
this is
it's
my
not
thing.
that it's not there. Like people are
Yeah,
always
it's
telling you that
there.
it's something's not there for you. Like it's not, you can't. And I'm like, everything is there. Even the things you can't imagine, they exist.
It has to be there because I'm telling you, this is
Has
the
to be there.
witchcraft I've never understood. Cell phones, telephones, broadcasting. Like, I'm sorry, how is this possible? How
Hmm.
is this possible? So it has to be there. Planes in the sky, it
Hmm.
has to be possible.
It's there. It's all there. And if you had told somebody
100 years ago,
1,500 years ago that, there were going to be these things that take to the sky, where there was going to be these four-wheel contraptions that move without any human force,
right.
most people would have been like, you're crazy. But it was there. It was
It was
there.
always
And
there.
so someone just had to put the pieces at play in the right order and move the things, move the pieces like a little chessboard to where they needed to be so they aligned and fit together and then boom, flight.
I'm going to even be even more potentially, I don't know. I don't even want, it can't be racist because white is not a real thing. So this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Um, I believe that like colonialism especially erased a lot of our stuff, right?
Yes.
Scattered us, erased a lot of our stuff. There's stuff that we do individually as a community that we're learning from each other that, oh, is a thing. And this is why I end up getting a vehicle that is new to me, a new used car. And this car is a 2023. And it has this is how I had a 2017 and apparently it must have been basic model because I was like, what is happening? What is happening? Anyway, so I'm sitting in the car and you probably know what this is, but I didn't know. Um, Sometimes the seat buzzes. It buzzes. And I was like, why is it buzzing? Right. I had to figure
You're
out
in
because I didn't,
danger.
right? Like from the left and somebody's on my left or my right. This is a crazy thing about this. And this validates it. My body does this automatically. Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
right. So I was like, oh, we doing this in cars
We're
now.
doing this in cars now. That's correct. That is
So
correct.
we are
Hmm.
first.
Hmm.
We are first.
Hmm.
It is what, 2025. I think this is new technology, but people have been doing this for millennia.
Yep.
So you can't tell me that people weren't flying first, people weren't doing this. We
Correct.
are technology. We just
Correct.
got scrambled a little bit, but I think like
Correct.
electricity, the more aligned we get, the more we know what to call it. Because
Yep.
people
You
are doing
name
it.
it. You at that point, you name it something.
Yeah, yeah. I think before it was just all of this was dumped in a box called Witchcraft Burnham.
Right. 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 Right.
Witchcraft, burn them, burn them, burn them.
But it's so funny though. It's so funny what it's so funny, and I guess this was kind of part of our conversation last week too, that people are okay. Like no one's gonna call it witchcraft if it comes from outside of you.
And that is my issue. And let's scale it down more. Let's talk about when it's okay when it's outside of you. When
When it's
so-called
secretly
white
killing
power,
you, when it's secretly killing you.
white so-called power structures,
Yes.
they didn't create it,
Secretly
right?
killing you.
So if my secretly kill, so when my mom or anybody else was like, I have no, I'm not saying people. If you have a heart attack, do what you got to do.
Please go to
But
the
when
hospital.
they
Please
say,
call
well, what did
911.
your doctor say,
Right.
right? Versus what you know to do with yourself,
Right.
everything being because the doctor is somebody that was trained
Correct.
us to forget our own medicines. You
Correct.
selling the water back to me. You selling the
They
plant
are selling you the ice cube in Alaska. That's what they're doing.
back.
They are selling you the water that Nestle bought the rights to. That is correct. Yeah, I mean that's what's so insane about because I'm like, you talk like people who say, people are like, oh, I've had out of body experiences, or oh, I can teleport somewhere to someone like telekinesis, like all these things. And you think about like a cell phone or just phones in general, before cell phone, like wired phones, though landlines.
Yeah,
The fact that you could place a call from Houston to Tokyo, there wasn't any witchcraft. There was no witchcraft in that. Nothing. There's no witchcraft in the fact that I put a piece of paper on a machine, put in a phone number, and then on the other side of the world, the exact same print of that thing ends up on the other side of the world. That's not
mm-mm,
witchcraft, though. But if
that's
you figure out a way to talk to your sibling who's in Germany while you in New York without ever picking up a phone, that's witchcraft. That's some heebie-jeebie whatever it is, right?
if I can get you how to pay for it, it's not
If I get you
witchcraft.
to pay for it though, it's not. It's great. It's
You
great.
know what always fascinated me because back in the 80s, and I think Black people probably doing this forever, but I remember before we had internet, my kids are so amazed that I've lived before the internet. But before we had internet, before I had cable, before we just had these program radio stations, that somehow, right, we had all variations of these hand games, variations of style. It
Mhm.
wasn't on TV back then because white folks wasn't broadcasting this, right? They
Right.
couldn't make money off of it yet. But somehow we had similar dances,
Hmm.
similar hairstyles, like
Hmm.
we move as if we're all communicating together. And this 92% and this not marching out and protesting in the middle of the streets, we are still
Hmm.
moving.
Hmm.
So I'm like, we've been doing this a long
A
time
long time.
and
A
we just
long
haven't
time.
called it what it is. But
That
we're in communication with one another
that is correct. That is
and they
correct.
know this.
And yes, 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 the powers that be do know, and the whole goal is to not help you to know.
Yeah, and I help you to know. But honey, that hepatic, whatever that is, vibration, I
I
was like, I need
know. I'd be like, why is my thigh vibrating? What is happening? And it's just on my left thigh. Why are you vibrating, thigh? What are you trying to tell?
seriously like that's but now I'm like, oh, so they're grafting the same technology. I don't know how they
Mhm.
do it, but yeah.
And then they
Okay.
call it something, and then they sell it to you, and then it's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
You can use
yeah.
this. You can't use that, but you can use this.
So once they witness it,
Hmm.
then they can make a transaction and that validates it.
That
Now it's
validates
reality.
it. Hmm.
Yeah, I ain't doing that no more.
But this is why this so like when it like you're in a constant state, at least I am, of dissonance. Like there's this constant state of dissonance because again, just like, the concept of time, like obviously, yes, the sun and the moon are moving and you get daylight, nighttime, and all this other stuff. But 9:32, like is 9:32 really a thing? Like I would say it's not really a thing.
Oh, started because I'm
It's
always
really
in
a
trouble.
thing. But if I want to meet my next client, then 9:32 is going to be a thing because the meeting is at 9:30. But I'm like, why are we this? Like, I don't even understand why are we doing this to ourselves? Like, why are we doing this to ourselves?
You know what I realized? Because if you are not connected to the source, you have to be taught step by step by step by step. You have to have something to measure time. You have
Hmm.
to have something written down.
Yes.
You have to have, because you can't feel it in your body. So you
Yep.
have to have something external to validate your existence and your human,
Yep.
because nothing is going on in here.
Nothing
You
is
are
going
deaf,
on.
blind, and dumb and mute. So to
Correct.
control, I have to make a space for myself by all means possible. I have to shield myself from the sun. I got to do all kind of crazy things
Correct.
because I'm deaf. So I think everybody's deaf.
Hmm.
So everybody has to go to school
Everybody
and
has to
learn
go to school.
step by step, even though you show up knowing stuff.
Knowing stuff. That's correct. That is correct. I mean, it's the same. I mean, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same process. I mean, like I remember distinctly I had a client who actually said that the reason, so there are these project planning boards that a lot of organizations use for various projects like Jira or Microsoft Project or Microsoft Azure DevOps, like all these things. So there are these things that like keep people's tasks and you kind of move the work through, whether you're in progress, it's done or whatever. And I was like, look, I don't need to put my work on. I don't need to put my work on this. I was like, I can tell you when things will be done. Like I'll give you due dates for when the things are done, but I'm not supposed to be on this board moving stuff randomly every day. And I'm not doing that. And we had to have a serious set of alignment because I was like, I'm not doing it. And they were like, well, the reason we started doing this was because, and they named a specific person on the team had an issue with getting their arms wrapped around the work and like being able to stay on track.
So they need accommodations. Got it. That's what we call special ed. You need accommodations.
You need accommodation. I was like, I don't need accommodations. I'm fine. Okay. I'm fine. So do that for them. Don't drag me into their mess because they don't know how to organize their life. Great. So that's pretty much what we have done, which is why I hate public school. It's why I hate organized religion. It's the very thing that teaches you the program to stay inside the lines that have been predefined by the lowest common denominator.
Because they want you to get. This is what's interesting. I think this is what we have in 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 common. Because you said it's like a constant dissonance in my classroom. In my classroom, um, teachers have to lesson plan, and I have learned to just okay, print out what they gave me, and then I kind of describe what might happen, but I teach by resonance,
Right.
right? And my students learn and communicate by resonance. So I'm translating for the adults so that they
Right.
can maybe understand what's going on in the room and maybe understand what they're looking at. But that's not how we roll. If I did it that way, everybody would be in danger all the time. So the interesting part about that is like you're saying, like what is the result that you want? Is this the goal? Like give me the goal. Is this the
Like, give
goal?
me the goal
I need freedom to reach that
to
goal,
reach the goal. That's correct.
if that's the goal. And we can sit down along the way if you're like, yeah, I'm confused. So I can help explain it to them.
Right.
But how I get there is not by writing stuff down on paper.
Right.
That's not how my
Right.
process works.
Right.
I do that because it's required, but that's not real.
Right.
Like that's not how
Right.
we get to the goal
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So I think that people get nervous
People
because
get nervous.
if they're not from in their type of work, if they're not touching the source,
Right.
then they think you need steps too because we're nervous about you getting to the goal because see everybody needs steps.
Everybody
Everybody
needs
needs
to step.
accommodations,
Right.
modifications, right? They need timers. They need, right? All these things. We need
Correct.
4 meetings before we get
Right.
there so everybody can understand. We need
Yeah.
to be very verbal about it. I need to waste your time with another memo.
Yeah. All of that. All of that. Yeah. And don't get
Oh,
me wrong, I contribute to the madness of that because a lot of people do need that, but I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. I don't know if the people need it because they've now been trained and conditioned that like, this is it, that, if you put blinders on and you leave, I guess it's like the elephant thing where if you put the chain on the elephant's leg and you leave it on there for so long and then after years go by you take the chain off, the elephant still doesn't move from beyond the thing because it thinks the chain is still there. I'm hoping that's the case. I really am. I'm hoping this is where my hope comes in at. I'm hoping
true. I
that
think
that's
you
the
have
case.
people who've been trained like an elephant, and there are people
Yeah, there are people.
who who need exact step
That
by
is
step,
true.
and they don't know it unless you say it. They don't
That's
know it
true.
unless you write it down because there's
That's true.
no resonance. So
That's true.
and there's just but I've learned in certain cultures, like I'll use my assistant in my job for a minute. She is from Iraq. She's traditional wife. She may be around 60, and in her dynamic, right, what I say is rule. I said, but I need you to um you've been with me a year. I need you to make the best decision because I'm with this child.
Hmm.
So I can't stop to hear your story and validate. You know exactly this child. You have to make the decision.
Right.
And if it's a dangerous decision, I'll come in, or at the end of the day, we could talk about it. I
Right.
said, but what I can't do is give you step by step by step. Not in this job. We're past that.
Right.
So, but it's taken her a long time to be confident enough to make the decision,
Yeah.
right? Because with decisions, as we talked about, comes a lot of accountability,
Ability.
right? It's so easy when you say, well, she told me.
Yeah, that's right. And
This
that's
is how
usually what people
most of
want.
us are, right?
Most people want to be able to say, well, no, no, no. Remember, I put it on the plan and no one told me to take it off the plan. So I did what they told me to do because it was on the plan. If I wasn't supposed to do it, you should tell me that. And yeah, no.
Yeah. I think most people operate like that. I'm going to do exactly what you tell me to do, no more, no less, because, well, I mean, that's transactional, that's American, but that way, I'm in a meeting, close the door. It's not time yet. Bye bye. And lock it. Bye. And that way, squills, the pig squills.
I do.
Come say hi, Miss Natalie, and be gone. Hi.
Hi,
Go.
Gracie.
Hi.
Hello.
The balloons.
This is the hot mess. I want to go back.
Go. Bye. Bye. See ya. Go lock the door. Come on. Y'all should be ready in 15 minutes. Go. Close the door. All right.
That's hilarious. I love it.
And she's wearing the exact color of your balloon.
I know. I noticed that. I noticed that. I noticed that.
So no, the responsibility, the choice, the freedom that we always talk about, it comes back to that. I was watching Wheeler online. I have not Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. I had not looked or inquired about their service in a good 15 years. And I had not seen how the church has grown. I
Hmm.
think like it's a huge building now. And I was thinking about the big black tent, and I was thinking about us as black women. I was thinking of all the songs, and I thought, okay, I think there's two parts to this now. There's parts of us that has done what we had to do to survive. I'm gonna do exactly what these people tell me, right? Um, so I can be held accountable for that, no more, no less. But I truly believe that this is our year of jubilee. And even as I say this, I have to wrap my head around it because I've done too much tomb living. That in this part of the cycle, we have overcome. And
Hmm.
I say that as Martin, even if we don't see it yet, even if literally buildings start coming down, if America just literally collapses tomorrow, I believe it's already done in the spirit,
Oh, it's done.
right?
It's
It's
done.
over.
Yeah.
We've already made it. If our ancestors, if we're the last result of our ancestors, right? We're the lineage that has made it,
Yeah.
right? We're like, we done, we made it. There's never going to be a cowbell of freedom for us.
Mm-mm. No.
right? Like it's never going to be like, oh, you made. I feel like you're an aunt in that regard. I feel like part of this work for December 6th is sounding the alarm within us and saying, hey, we made it. What are we going to build now?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually over. It looks like it's standing, but it's over.
It's over, yeah. Like what's next? You need to be on what's next.
Yes. What's next? Because we have it. We have it. We have it. We have it. So that when we see it crumble, or continue to experience the crumble, that if we bear witness correctly, as with you and your husband, then you accept the reward of it, you accept the jubilee, and you don't panic because of the
Right.
felony. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a good thing. This is a good
Mm-hmm.
thing, but we just need more witnessing so we can actually reap our reward, reap the good
Yeah.
stuff that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And also I think too, to your point about not panicking, I mean, like, it's not gonna help, let's be clear. Panic never helps. It never helps the situation. It
You know,
usually complicates the situation. But also if you firmly believe again that wherever you are and whatever's happening around you and all of that, that like again, you're connected to source and source will tell you and give you whatever it is that you need because you're from it. It can't not, right? You certainly have the choice to ignore it, right? Um, as we all do at certain points in times for whatever reasons we do. But you will have the information and the things that you need.
mm,
So to me, there's no reason to panic.
no, thank you for that. I think that's an accurate witness. I think that is a good witness, because all of this feeds off of fear.
Hmm.
Um, all of it feeds off of fear, all of it. And I is the stories, and I'm not saying they're not real stories. Um, okay, so I'm gonna bring this up. Like, should I bring this up? Okay, so I've heard, because I steeped my toe in that water. I heard of several thousand different versions of what is hurtling towards Earth. Have you heard this?
You talking about the meteor thing?
The meteor or the ship or the
Hmm.
mothership or Adamu or the Anunnaki. Like, I have listened to all,
Hmm.
or a rock
Hmm.
destroyed or just passed by. The comets.
Hmm.
I've heard it all, and
Hmm.
in all of it, I really want to remind myself and everybody else not to give up our inheritance of freedom, no matter what shows up and what's happened. Don't panic and give it away. You know, don't be fearful and give it away. Um, don't see, just because an entity may look like you and demand you to do something opposite of what is God, is true. Don't be submitting. Like, like, don't trade one master for the other
For the
master,
other.
you know? So yeah, because I
Hmm.
believe that as this falls down, the echoes of the tomb get louder and louder, louder and louder, right? That what is it that a drowning man will grab onto an alligator for safety?
Hmm.
So
Yeah. A hungry alligator too.
a hungry, right? And I feel like a lot of this is just like we just gonna throw anything and see who we can take
Who?
down with.
That's correct. We just tossing spaghetti on the wall, seeing who it stick to.
Yeah, at this point, literally. And as I saw, like, it's in Arlington, Texas. They had that huge ICE agent job fair,
Oh, wait, no, I did hear about that. I heard about the ICE agent job fair, but I didn't know it was in Arlington. Okay.
and they were interviewing people like, okay, why are you doing this job? And I was like, well, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense because once you pay people stuff, right?
Or
No
people do
different
whatever if you
Nazis.
pay them. Yeah,
Right, right. Nazi slavery, Jim Crow, I mean, whatever.
whatever. Whatever.
You
If
pay
you pay
people.
them, they are there for the shenanigans. That is correct.
I don't know if Donald pays his bills, but I'm just saying, once you pay me,
Once you're on the hook for a payment, then yes. Yeah,
then yeah.
I mean, the whole reason why systems are sustained is because people
Sure.
do the things. And look, don't get me wrong, everybody, hey, make your living, do whatever you need to do, make your little living. But that is the reason why the systems are here. They're here because people work in them and for them and help to keep them going.
That's true. That is so true. And to round this off, I've started watching Chief of War with Jason Momoa.
Chief of
It's
War?
Chief of War. It's Apple TV, and
Okay.
it's close to the accurate story of the Hawaiian nation
Oh, okay. Okay.
before
Okay.
colonization and how they got colonized. So kind of like a modern day Shaka Zulu, you know?
Okay.
You remember Shaka Zulu,
I
baby?
remember Shaka Zulu and I was always amazed they played that little story on TV. I'm like, y'all really playing this story on TV? Okay. Let's see it.
It's the Shaka Zulu of
Of Hawaii.
Don't be mad at me. It's a Shaka Zulu story, a Hawaii girl. And I'm like,
What's crazy though is that it's the same playbook. Like, I
somebody's
mean, they
always
don't, is the
divided.
playbook is the same, but also why alter the playbook if it keep working?
It's
I
the
use my
same.
same playbook for stuff all the time because I'll be like, this playbook work, child. I'm not going to reinvent something if it's working.
That's true. It's the same. And that's the thing. If you can't create, right? Because those who dominate like that are not connected to source can't create.
Hmm.
So they doing the same thing and for hundreds of years, you scatter enough people, they're like, oh, this like right,
Uh-huh.
100 years later, this is it's new.
It's new. It's new. It looked new. I ain't never seen it before, so it's new. Ciao.
Right? So yes, take a gander. It's good cinematography. They're speaking their native language.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm like, it's I'd say it's pretty good. It's anthropologically sound as it can be.
As it can
So
be, as it can be.
as because they got to do the little Hollywood
I
stuff.
mean, you gotta do the Hollywood stuff, because again, people's attention span is like that of an ant. So you got to do something every 5 minutes to be like, oh, we got you again. Okay, great.
Other than that, it's pretty.
Okay, Chief
I'm
of
impressed.
War.
Like everything got a little black person in there too. They trying to pull. Not to say the wines wasn't black. I'm just saying, but
I mean, again, I go
yeah,
back to, I'm pretty certain that the 90% of the planet was highly melanated,
yes,
was and is highly melanated, and will continue to be.
that's true. That's true. So they're a little mixed, like we're a little mixed.
Yeah.
But yeah, take a look. Tell me what you think. Momoa's front and center.
Of course. Yeah, I'm sure he's carrying the show.
You know,
All right, right,
but he
right.
did co-produce it, so I think this is his baby. I think this is his
Okay.
project. So, and you'll see some familiar faces in there, and I think his dad is in there at one point because his dad is fully Samoan. So, or Samoan as you can
I
get.
wonder if he got The Rock to be a part of anything.
I haven't seen
Dwayne
him yet,
Johnson,
but
who's also somewhere Samoan at
oh,
some point, at something.
Samoa. Okay, okay. Well,
I'll check
is
it
there
out
any?
though.
You said you're gonna look it up?
I'll check it out. I'll go see what it's about. I'll be scared because then they think once you because the interesting thing about the algorithms are that the moment you do something, it records it and then it's like, oh, let's do more. Let's send them more of this. I'm like, no, I accidentally paused because my phone rang. I don't want to see any more of this. And then it takes forever for you to undo it. So, but yeah, I'll check it out. We'll see.
Okay, let me know. Let me know. Yeah, because they're showing how we got in it. And now we need to get out of it by removing, right, all the programming and the
Oh well.
stitching that but we'll get there because people
Waiting
like
for
you born
people to
into
get deprogrammed, child. Good luck.
it's the deprogramming part. It's a little difficult, but we'll get there. We've gotten this far. We can go a little further. She's like,
Maybe.
I don't know about that.
It's like, we'll see.
Well, any other thoughts? Any other thoughts?
No, but I'm super excited about our December event, which is also secretly Rebecca's birthday month.
Oh, it
Okay.
is. It is. Yeah.
Naima Freedom got a birthday, child. I know y'all thought she was just essence. She is, but also she has a birthday. She has when she took her human
Happy
form day.
birthday.
When she took her human form day.
I know, and it's serious. I am severely Sagittarius. 12/12, baby. 12/12/77. So I am severely Sagittarius, but reformed in many ways. Reformed. Is that the religion? I'm a reformed Sagittarius.
That's hilariousness.
But if you need to burn down, I volunteer to burn stuff.
Right? Let me tell you. Again,
Yeah.
I just walk away. So I just be like, whatever, child. That's the Leo. I'm just leaving.
Thank you. My son delivered me boiled eggs. Thank
Aw.
you. Thank you, Luke, for my boiled. He is a master at boiled eggs,
We need
Lukey style.
protein. Protein is important.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say blessed be, and so
Mhm.
it is, you guys. December 6th, location to be announced soon.
Yes. Bye, everyone.